What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates as is a tradition on a Wednesday. And in this one we get a handful of updates from Bungie, which are worth paying attention to in the early part of the week as things will probably get a little bit quieter in the next few days with Thanksgiving. That includes a whole host of updates that we're going to see for the game in December. Many of them are fixes, but there's some additional tuning on the way, so we'll break down what to expect there, as well as other bugs and glitches which Bungie have recognised, and then we'll talk about massive discounts on Destiny expansion costs at the moment, future content rolling around in Act 3, and a handful of other items in the video. So, as always guys, I hope you enjoy this one. If you find it useful, get subscribed to the channel and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content, but otherwise, let's get into it. And so first up, we have a handful of updates from Bungie here. They've said, we've issued a short-term fix to address issues where Legend and Master Lost sectors would not drop weapon rewards on certain days, and until a fix is introduced, the featured Lost sector rotation will be slightly altered. Unfortunately, I didn't know about this ahead of the weekly reset, so the standard rotation for Lost sectors probably will have changed. I'm guessing certain Lost sectors are bugged and aren't actually dropping rewards, so they've essentially been removed from the rotation until they're fixed. That's the first thing to keep in mind. Next up though, Bungie also identified an issue where the fix intended to correct high ground's activation while airborne conflicts with a change designed to reduce stack accumulation from damaging players, and it basically causes high ground to deal more damage than it should, so that's another one which is disabled in the Crucible, and it will be fixed in a future release. They also announced the other day that they've disabled the Ballados Wrathweavers due to a glitch where it can do a lot more damage than intended, so we'll have to wait for a fix on that. But Bungie also outlined they're aware of an issue where Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun is benefiting from the recent super increase meant only for roaming supers, so at the moment it's able to put out a lot of damage as obviously it's still returning super energy at an elevated rate. Take advantage of that for as long as you can, and the same applies to the Sentinel Shield for Titans. And Bungie say the melee attack is doing a lot more damage than intended. They are targeting a fix for mid-December, but in the meantime, they're basically letting us play around with it. And as you can see from some of the gameplay here, these clips were shared by Dazzling Fortune, and with a handful of Sentinel Titans, the damage output on bosses is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to try it out, keep in mind, debuffs like Tractor Cannon are obviously only going to improve the damage output, and you can even have a full team of Sentinels, but one running Banner of War, as that will offer nearby allies additional melee damage, and that's something like 40%. So 5 Sentinels and a Banner of War right now will put out ludicrous damage, which again is worth taking advantage of, but that's another fix that will come in December, and Bungie had already outlined that Raiju's Harness will get some updates in December, which they were previously attempting to get in for the most recent patch, but it wasn't quite ready to go. For the future though, they've retuned the super energy granted by defeating arc debuffed combatants. So for minors, it goes from 0.3 to 1%, majors go from 1.7 to 2.5, players go from 3.1 to 4, and then mini-bosses and bosses go from 4.5 to 4%, which is an interesting change anyway. They're also decreasing the amount of super energy granted for defeating arc debuffed combatants while Gathering Storm is being cast, and the maximum total energy remains the same at 50%, but the lightning summoned by Raiju's Harness on allies and enemies near the user will always apply status effects before dealing damage. So, those are a handful of updates that we will see in December, and I'll keep you posted as Bungie give us more information about precisely when we can expect those patches, as well as any additional changes that we may see. Onto a brief mention related to Revenant for a moment though. It would appear that there is going to be an additional version of the Tomb of Elders that'll release at some point during the episode. Now, this is referred to as Kel's Vengeance. There are only a couple of bits of info we can really get about it, but we can see here from the description, the prison's most infamous inmate returns, eager for one last shot at revenge. It would appear as well that this version of the game mode will have slightly stricter rules, where we need to complete a perfect lap of the Warden's twisted game, and failing to complete secondary objectives will result in the Warden inflicting its punishment on the entire fire team. But in terms of exactly what this is, there's been some speculation that it will be the exotic mission for Act 3. However, it would appear that they are two different things, as we know the actual name for the exotic mission is Kel's Fall. It does, however, appear that there will be a potential sort of narrative link between this version of Tomb of Elders and the exotic mission itself. Obviously, one being called Kel's Vengeance, the other being called Kel's Fall. There are a couple of possibilities. Either Kel's Vengeance comes first, either as a rotation for Tomb of Elders or some kind kind of secret that will activate, and then potentially it could be followed by the exotic mission, and we could see a possible narrative arc there. Or indeed, it could essentially be the other way round, where we get the exotic mission first, followed by this specific version of Tomb of Elders. We're not entirely sure just yet, and the same can be said for any potential reward or relevance to progression this season, but it would appear there is essentially a third Tomb of Elders variant, according to what we can see in the database, but we need to take it with a pinch of salt. We'll simply have to wait and see when this drops and what the narrative could be. But if you have any thoughts and speculation on it, let us know in the comment section. Next up though, a quick mention for the reset this week. Iron Banner is now live, and we've got access to the Today's Mastery. Main thing that players were looking forward to on this, of course, was Chill Clip. And kind of as expected, it takes 3 shots to freeze a target, although it will apply slow with just 1 shot, but 3 hits to freeze is pretty quick. My friend Duddits has a very good Warlock build rocking this sidearm with Chill Clip, which is totally worth checking out. I'll link that down below. And yes, Loose Change and Chill Clip is a very good role, although players are also enjoying Impulse Amplifier and Air Trigger paired up with Chill Clip. They're all pretty good options. Interestingly, a lot of them seem to be rolling with Reverberation as well, but those are of course pretty early stats. But let us know how you've got on picking up good rolls of this weapon. And for those of you still hunting them down, all the best getting those juicy perk combos. A few final things to mention here, but if you still need to pick up any Destiny 2 expansions and you actually fancy purchasing them, now is a very good time with Black Friday sales on multiple platforms. I believe Steam will be announcing their autumn sale this week on Wednesday, so that could be live by the time you've seen this video, but for PlayStation and Xbox, there are massive reductions as reported by the game post right here, where some expansions are as cheap as $1.99, which offers pretty much about the best value for money that you're going to find for any Destiny content. So keep that in mind. If you're missing any expansions and you want to jump into them, it's going to be worth grabbing them in the next few days. A separate note that I mentioned very briefly the other day though, and Destiny Bulletin also shared the Slayer's Fang exotic shotgun that we'll be getting as part of Act 3 with an additional ornament, which will obviously be released in the Eververse store the day that that weapon actually becomes available. Almost certainly it will be a silver only purchase, probably for the remainder of this episode, but you can see that one on screen. Otherwise, Bungie did share some gameplay of how the weapon actually operates a couple of weeks back, and as mentioned, we're anticipating seeing that one finally drop on the 7th of January. Otherwise related to Revenant content, but if you're working on the Slayer Baron title this episode, there are 16 triumphs advertised in the seal, but only 15 are actually required for the title. And with some of those objectives, like 250 Revenant Barons needing to be killed, obviously being a pretty hefty objective, it is worth paying attention to a minor shortcut that you can take for that title if you are working on it. So keep that one in mind as well. Our very final mention though, as you can see right here, Bulletin also shared that Destiny Rising has a shooting range, which is something that players have been asking to get back in Destiny 2 for some time. Of course, we used to have the Tribute Hall. However, Destiny Rising has managed to create an even better shooting range, as we can see right here, because we can spawn specific enemies in. There's also a ranged area that demonstrates the distances of various different enemies. You can check things like damage drop off. And there's even a tracker on the side of the screen there, which can record personal damage output, DPS, attack durations, and even fall off from weapon range and things like that, which compared to anything similar we've had in Destiny 2, even the Tribute Hall, is a far more advanced system. So it's interesting that with Destiny Rising, there are a few features that they seem to have noticed were very commonly requested for Destiny 2, but still haven't made it into the game, and they've decided to work on those for Destiny Rising. I guess all we can hope is that this perhaps nudges Bungie in a direction where they consider making more of these sort of additions to the full game as well. Give us any thoughts you have about that in the comments section, but for today guys, that is what we have to speak about. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, get subscribed to the channel and I'll keep you posted with a lot more Destiny content. Also drop us a like rating down below if you have enjoyed it, and good luck if you are still hunting down any of the rewards from the Iron Banner, which has just gone live this week. For today though, I appreciate you tuning in, and I will catch you guys very soon.
Survive. You put on a good show for us, Guardian.